today's video, we will be discussing this. Okay, so in today's video is where we have met our little boa goat. Okay, so basically, I am into the goats production, and so far it is going really good. Um, Doing the goats production, I can say it's bad. It's really good. So if any young persons are looking to get into goat farming, it's cool. However, mistakes that I have made before that I wouldn't want to make again, I will actually share it with you in this video. So, firstly, I will start by saying if you want to start buying goats, try to get the best served animals. Okay, so if you can get a boar, if you can get something like Sena, it's not that bad too. Um, these are a good start. Okay, you don't have to get two or three or four. I started with like three. I started with one female Sena, one male Sena, and I started with a black belly sheep. And actually, the black belly sheep, it had male one. So altogether now I have four female animals, and now I have the male animal that I had in Sena has been there, and now I actually got more. So it's not bad, right? Pretty cool. So if you're looking to get into long-term farming, is that's what I'm going to be doing right now. Most of my businesses are going to be based on long-term businesses because I will not be in, I will be in and out. So I wouldn't be doing businesses that's going to be taking time anymore. So long-term businesses are good businesses to start if you have time where you can multitask. Okay, so far we are looking at our mom Sina and also our little boy, right? What I've learned also during the process of dealing with goats, especially the males, right? What I've learned also dealing with males, the male animals are actually tendency to be more vulnerable to, I can say, the disease section. Also, when it comes to um, dealing with serve and all of that, right? So I have come to that actual part there where I noticed that the male animals are actually has to be taken better care than the female animals. Okay, what I've learned with female animals is that they can take cheap, right? But the male animals, you have to be very super caution with those things because basically they are gonna last for a long time based on the way that you care, right? And when I have purchased that and made a mistake, I purchased it big. Okay, it was not the biggest animal that I purchased, but it was big enough to actually, you know, I would say big enough to have service and all that, to do service for different animals. So I have made that mistake by buying animals. I would tell persons the reason why I got this animal, which is that Shane and goat at this size right now, because that's the second drop. This is all because I had gotten that animal when it were younger. Okay. However, I wanted a male animal as young as when I bought this one. But however, I didn't have a choice. I had to take it. So this is why I had lost the bigger one. The reason why I am stressing on not buying big animals is because most persons who are dealing with animals know that they have sick animals. And the sick animals that they can have is if you buy them at a very big rate, or I can say old animals, then they're not old animals like animals that's there for years, but big animals that is actually ready for mating or ready for doing services like these, right? Like the saying in white hair. But if you are looking at uh, purchasing a big animal that is a male, I would say it's a no. Try to do your stuff. If you want to start a business with where you want to do young animals, I would recommend you start with the animal from young. Why? There is a lot of things that you have to learn on the way when you are starting young animals. Okay, it's better because you can, when it comes to medicine, most persons, I am not sure, may use the hunter stand. I use the hunter stand for my sheep, and I actually use the hunter stands for my goats, right? And it's a good one. I have seen good production, and that is what you actually want to mark. You want to mark when you're using the hunter stand, how it's working. When the animal is big already and it's going through a lot of underlying problems, you cannot tell what it's actually working. So it's better to start purchasing your animal if you want to get into that farm. Purchase young animals. Okay? If you're purchasing big animals, try to purchase it in the female because they have a tendency to take more pressure. That is what I've learned along the way. But if you're purchasing for startup as an animal farmer, livestock, you want to get heavy into this, I would recommend you start purchasing animals that are young, animals that are eating grass, but they're young. Because when you start treating them, you can know what they respond to, what they don't respond to. You can tell if they're growing. You can tell a lot of different things when it comes to growing the animal, the way that you would want to see it develop. But when you buy the animal big, something got an indoor problem that you're not seeing on the surface, but the animal looks healthy, but it's sick on the inside, and you can only detect that by when their animals are actually eaten, where then when the animal feels it looks healthy. So these are some things that you would want to make sure that you look into before you start buying animals. Okay, it is a very good investment. The reason why it's a good investment is because it is life you're dealing with, right? So you're dealing with animals that has life. You're not dealing with, I mean, like all other stuff have life, but you're dealing with a valuable life, right? It's unlike planting tree or a big tree that you may just cut down and then it's be sent up another sucker, right? It doesn't work like that with animals. Whenever the animal dies, you have to get another one, or if you have enough, then you do another service, and then actually they start making more animals for you. But with animals, it is a good investment because why? You're dealing with life. You're dealing with life for animal. You have to take care of the animal. You have to make sure the animal grows to what you want it to be. And if you, for adventure, don't give that animal the caring, the nurturing that it needs, then you will see the difference in the animal. So far, the little book, it is coming on really good, right? Also, what I can say in purchasing a lot of big animals, I'm sorry, smaller animals, is because it is better for, I can say, the holistic of starting a business. When it also comes to the different breeds of animals that you get, I would recommend that you use hybrids. Because when I used to do seedlings, small nursery plants, cabbages, lettuce, cucumbers, when you buy the better breed seeds, like the hybrid seeds, when you buy the tropics in the cabbage, you buy the best variety of lettuce. Also, when you buy the best variety of any of the young cucumbers, you see that that plant have a more efficiency for standing more harsher conditions. This is why it's even better. It is the best. It's good to get animals that are good race so that they can be strong enough to fight whatsoever underlying disease they can show it. The body is going to be more stronger and put up a better resistance than that of the easier animals that is easier to purchase, and that is just the common breed. So it is good to have good breed animals because they're going to stand up, they're going to have shaping, they're going to grow faster. Because I can tell you, in the space of 3 months, I had a little animal that was at the size of this, and it was from the mother sheep that I had. And I'm telling you straight up, this animal, by the time in 3 months' time, it was almost in competition with the mom. And what I did at this stage of the animal's life, this is when I start giving the mom the medication. Okay, so I'll start giving her the Fantastan, um, and she's gonna start using that, right? And the young one is going to start nursing the understand reaction from the milk. And this is what's going to make sure that the animal start developing faster. And this is what I've been doing. I have done it twice because this is this mom's second offspring. The first offspring is almost as big as the mom already. So I'll have a video separate to show you all. And even the offspring for sure of the sheep that's down there, right down there, it's almost big as the mom already. So it's something that I have learned. It's something that I have developed on my own. Um, it could have been a strategy that is already out there. I'm not saying that I am the person that invented that strategy, but when I have looked at the way that the medication works, when it comes to the animal, I recognize for sure that the young one needs the medication from young because when they start picking the first set of leaves that they start eating, they don't know what to eat, I guess, right? And they will eat. So by then, I start giving them the appetite. So I'm gonna give it some more time because I wanted there when it had dropped, but it hasn't dropped not too long. So I want to make sure that like it is at a certain strength because I'm looking at it every day, and I want to see the strength of the development. Not only because it's a high risk animal, I wouldn't take chances to give it its medication right now because why? I it's my first time dealing with higher breeds, which I know they are strong enough resistant to overcome body, but I'm gonna give it a little more time to make sure that it steps up a bit, and then during its last set of nurses, which I'm gonna be monitoring very closely, I'm gonna give the mom her open appetite medication, like the contestant, and let she get a dose of it, and then let the young one start nursing it from home, and then open the young one appetite also, and he can have competition with the mom when it comes to eating, and I wouldn't have a problem with eating as much as it could. So I want to make sure that I give it some time, that it gets enough pollution from the mom, and make sure that it can stand on its own solid before I start giving it that extra boost. And that is what I've been doing. However, I'm just sorry that I didn't mark the weeks that I've been doing it, but I will do a draft with this one so I can explain in better detail for persons who's going to be getting into animal farming. And the reason why I have done this is all because I have started with only three animals, and I had to get the animals faster, boosting faster, because I wanted the population to start growing. So now that I have four females and one male from the goat side, I have two females, which is this mom and the other one. And from the sheep side, I have the mom there and the young one that's male. So now this is the second drop from this animal, which is heroic. I wasn't expecting, but this is heroic. It had dropped twice. However, the only reason I missed this one is because I didn't have a server at the time. Otherwise, this one would have been, I guess, almost on the way home or having an offspring. But it's fine. It's fine. Although I have lapsed a bit, it's fine still. Because by the end of the time, I want to make sure that I give her enough stuff to eat down there, so that when she starts her service, I'm looking to try my best to get a best serve where this mom can at least give me two animals for a drop or for a labor, because that is how I would go now. We're going to go with stronger breed animals where the mom can drop two or sometimes three and make sure that they are eating enough food so that they can sustain themselves when it comes to ovulation or that with this section of the animals. So it is good to make sure that your animals are eating. Check them, look at them. Um, I don't play with animals because like it's to me it's business. So I don't friend the animals too much to fall in love with them because I know persons do that. And when it's time to either sell, kill, it makes makes you feel like you're losing something. So I give them what they have to get. I make sure that they're eating. I make sure that they're fine. I check up on them, spend a little time here, making sure that they're okay. Seeing the difference of the eating, how are they eating, what's the regularity, what can be bothering the animal, if it's in heat, whatever the case is. So if you're doing that and you're working, it's fine. You just need to make sure that every time you come from work, you just take a time and pass and check off your animals, see what they need, see where you need to back up, and because it doesn't take long, it takes maybe a half an hour to sit with them and see what it is. More than if you're long into the business of doing livestock, and you can just look at an animal by first impression. Okay, that animal are lacking some medicine or lacking some appetizer, whatever the case is. However, persons make the appetizer, right? I think I heard once upon a time that I met one of my friends, and he said to me that he had some cows and he had to make the appetizer. I think he told me that he used some salt water with some ghost bones and some other stuff he told me that he mixed and he gave the animal this to drink. Besides the medicine that he used for boosting the animal's appetite, sometimes the natural remedies, it works a lot. And he told me that the natural remedies is going to make that animal eat more than the hunter stand and the artificial stuff that is being made. But if you don't got or you don't have ideas of making natural remedies, then maybe you can look up YouTube videos, and maybe also you can check persons who have animals, because some persons will local animals straight, like they don't use any of the artificial understand or any other stuffs that you use for medicine. They will use locally. They're gonna make that appetite for the animal, and they're gonna see the working, right? Because of what it's been made from. So looking at these here, it is the first of the meal, and I know for sure that the way that we're gonna actually take care of this meal, it's going to it's gonna come good because we need the meal. It's not to say like we want the meal. We need the meal because we have females that need to serve. However, um, if this meal will have to serve them all, I would allow it because it's not the best and safe practice, but I will allow it because of the breed of the animal, right? In case that I get a female. Um, However, I will have it served with other animal, which is going to be its far sister on the other side, the father that made this one is not actually in my bunch of animals, but it's in the neighbor bunch of animals that I have luckily get served. So keeping this served, I'm going to make it serve the other female that I had when it's a bit bigger. Uh, I think it may the other female will get her served before, even before, even before this one is eligible for doing services, but we will be taking special care of the meal. So what we intend to do in the future, we intend to see, as you see this little pen structure right here, in the future we intend to build little structures like this on the side of the garden, go up as we go, as the meals are coming, we are going to be building little structures like this to keep the meal in good condition, away from the rain, being fed by hands, also being tied out when it's necessary, um, keeping it in that good condition because why we need it to be proper for service. So this is what I've learned, right? As I said, the females undergo a little pressure. When I said pressure, I mean you may animal may stay out at night, it may get a little rain, it may get some dew and stuff like that. It may throw a hole and all of that, and it will not die because the females take the pressure. That's what I learned. But the males, they're not 100% to take that amount of pressure because they're males. And on top of that, if you want to have a healthy meal that's going to serve good females and get good offspring, then we want to make sure that you take care of that meal. Not super duper, or try to put the animal or things, but you will take care of the animal, make sure it's sheltered, make sure it's eating enough, um, make sure the urines are good, make sure they're hard and raw, not soppy and all that, with mucus and all that in it, because you're gonna know there is problems. So you want to make sure that the animal is in a good place, especially the male, and make sure it's healthy, make sure the fur is nice and thick, and you take care of the male because you know that is what you're gonna be using to breed the rest of your whole deal. So in the future, what I would suggest to persons that plants, if you got a little space, or maybe grandma have a space and she's one, she just have it there. She's in age, she cannot use it anymore. You want to invest in some animals. It's not that big. You got some old materials like galvanized, pieces of plywood, um, molds, and all that, and you want to structure your section. The best structure I can say is that if you let your animals do free roaming, right? This female here, which gave me this offspring, was on the free roam for 3 months. Okay, within the 3 months period, I have spotted this offspring, which is a boa from, as I said, neighbor. And when I have looked at the animal in the off, which is in the wild, it was looking way healthier than when it's roamed, right? It is natural that all animals that are actually in the wild will look way better than animals that are roamed. Because what I've tend to see is that the animals are stressed when they roam, right? However, the animal had a rope in its neck, but it was cut. That is why it went off. But because where I am right now, you will see there is no one doing short-term short crops or any stuff like that. So I didn't really bother time. It's more long-term crops that are used in that area. Nutmegs, cocoa, spice trees, and other stuff like that. So the animals don't destroy those things like that. So I leave them. They were roaming all over the place. And what I have tendency to learn also, they were growing better. They felt more relaxed. They were less stressed. They were eating little pieces of food, but they were looking way healthy. They were picking, because what I've tendency also to learn that the animals are going to pick here, they're going to pick a little there, they're going to pick a little different places, you know. They're going to pick stuff, and this is what's going to make them um, be strong animals. Also, this is going to help with the exercising of the animal, make sure that the animal is fit. It's getting place to walk, it can walk freely, it can eat as much as it likes. But the many times that I started going back to I can see the breakdown of the animals. So when the animals right. So in the future, this small business which I'm going to be starting, that eventually going to be a big business in the future, I will ensure that I have those gardens. I'm going to leave the walkway, but I'm going to ensure that I have these gardens fenced, and I'm going to do them section by section. Because what I've learned, when the animals sometimes are in the wild with a lot of food, they will tendency to waste the food, right? So by then, I would section every, I can say every 30 to 20 feet of the line. So I'm gonna bar out the portion, and then I'm gonna bar out another portion. The reason for this is because when the dry season hits, right, we don't be affected too much here where I live. If you look here, you're gonna see a lot of big trees, right? When it comes to moisture, leaving the ground here, it's on a scale of 1 to 10. I would say on the 5, 4, 4.5, 2.5, because there is a lot of humidity here that keeps enough moisture into the ground. So if there is scarcity for feeding here for animals, that simply means that the weather is really really hot. Yeah, that is the only reason I can say that. All for now, we have no problem much because we're living in the high areas. That's like countryside, and this is where I get all this lovely, as you can see here, lovely feeding, even feeding all on top of the trees. So if the dry season decide to hit, right, there's a lot of vines there. I can get something and I can pull that down and I can section it by piece and I can feed my animals because there's a lot of trees here and vines are growing like crazy. Even if vines are not growing, the ground is actually flourishing with a lot of water grass and all that that is nutritious for the animals. So here is not a problem. But the reason why I said that I would sectionize this piece of garden is because when it comes to making sure, ensuring that I have enough feed because I don't know what the weather pattern is like. Sometimes you get rains and you don't. Weather is changing within the year and all of that. Things are skipping, whatever the case may be. And if a very solid dry season in the past later, here I would want to make sure I have a backup of my feed section when it comes to dealing with all these animals on a massive scale, right? So this is my whole reason for sectionizing, blocking off. So when I'm ready, I can just lead the animals from one section and I can just open another section and let them come through. And I can leave the other section to get back, springing up again, let the grasses grow, and let the bushes get high and build back. That's solid feeding for the animals again. So this is something that you will want to do if you're looking to do cows and all of that. Is I want to get into some cows, but however, I have to make sure I properly plan for it because cow eats a lot, and persons are saying 1 acre a lot of land because cow eats a lot, right? And imagine I look at these animals here, and I'm surprised by the way that they're eating. I have been here yesterday, and this animal would have been eating for more than 4 hours straight. And it shows that if they are in a fenced area where they are alone, they are going to eat way more better because they're going to be let go, they're going to be fenced in the area, they're going to be free to roam, eat wherever they want to eat, and the food are going to last better because why? They don't eat one spot. That's how I will tie them here, and they will have to eat this spot here, and then I have to wait until it's back again before I can, you know, do that whole thing. But when they're let go, it can go all the way over there. It can eat. It can come all the way back down here. It can eat. It can go all here. It can eat what it wants. And by eating just like that, pick, 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 it's gonna give the bushes more time to get back in shape if there is enough moisture in the ground, right? Because up here in the high areas, the grasses grow really fast. As long as a little bit of rainfall, the grasses are actually going up 5 centimeters already, going up, going up, going up. Until by the time you know it, the place is really covered with bush. So for here, there is no problem with doing an animal farm. This is why I get into it, and I want to do it on a massive scale by producing with the animals because I know for sure with the animals and with the condition that we have here when it comes to feeding, I'm sure to have good animals in a short space of time because of how I will be doing it. So if you're on the animal level strat, you're into investing, you're into making some stuff out of yourself, then I will say to you, don't wait. Get into the animal farming right now. As you will see, get into the animal farming right now. It's worth it. It makes sense. It's not much work, as you can see. You can sit here whenever you're having an animal. You can sit here and you can look at all the animals running, and these are your investments. And whenever you feel like having one sold, you can just have one sold. Whenever you feel like eating a piece of mutton and all of that goat meat, well, under the same mutton family, then you can eat a piece of goat meat. Whenever you feel like eating a piece of sheep meat, you can eat a piece of sheep meat. You can have it in the fridge, you can make a soup. You have your stuff, right? And also it's going to be beneficial when it comes to younger animals. So the whole goal that I have here with this animal farm that I want to start is to have animals for selling, whether it be by meat, to have those younger animals being sold for persons that want to start having a little animal with them. I would have small animals where I'm going to be selling small animals to persons, and it's pretty expensive, right? It's like $250 to $300 for a young animal, and based on the breed. So you know for sure you have to pay a good bit of money for animals there, right? And if you have a lot of females, then you have a lot of young ones. And when the young ones get older, you can sell out maybe the majority of the males and keep more females back, and have good served males stay back to serve the females so that you can have more offspring. So the better you have more females and less males than you have more males and less females. So it's good for production, and also, as I said, having for meat for sale, having the young ones to sell, having to use for yourself if you want to have some of the meat, and also if I want to get into milking, then I will have enough female for milking, right? So there is a whole massive structure here when you get into doing this business, what they call livestock farming with goats, sheep, and all of that. If you want to start creating patties, new products from the animals, then you can do your experiment, you can do your posts, you can take your animal meat, you can bring it to some lab and let persons do a little test for you. If you want to create your own product from the goat meat, from the sheep meat, you think that you have what it takes and it's going to come out good. You have cows, you want to do parties, you want to do your stuff, then you have the animals that is there to do that, right? So it's not a bad start. And anything that I do, I will share my whole experience with persons and let them know that it is better, it is good. It's not something that you're gonna fail, right? It's not a fail stuff. The reason why I said it's not a fail stuff right before I leave this video, right? Check this. These are like free. The only thing that you need to get this running, which is the bushes or the feeding, is just some rainwater. Or if you have a river flow or a little rapid flow, you take your gravity and you let the water soak through the land and it grows the grass back. That is just free. The only thing that you have to purchase is if you cannot get the ropes, it's where I get the ropes. I get the ropes from the construction sites when they get the cement, slings, and all that. Persons who work there, I'll ask them to save some ropes for me, and they're gonna bring the ropes. So I don't gotta pay for ropes. That's one. I don't gotta pay for feeding that street because I use the natural feeding here, the grass and all of that that is there that I would love to eat. That's two expenditure of the farm. Three, you don't have to pay for the service. Maybe you have a friend that will have a very good breed of animal and will decide that he's gonna give you a service. It's fine. You get a service. For free, sometimes you may have to pay money for service. But I don't believe in paying money for service with this animal, right? So I would just ask someone and they would say, okay, it's cool. I give you a sub because I know you, you're a great person, you're fine, things good. And hopefully in the future, when your production get big, you can give that person back money for the gratitude, right? So you don't lose anything. Even if you don't have the money to do service, you can cut deals with persons and have better get animals, do service, and then you can, whenever you get back from your fleet, you can give the person something for the service that they give you. Whether it be an animal or something, right? It's gonna work out very good. What else can I say? The only thing that you will have to get is the medicine. That is gonna cost you, I think, $6 per dose, right? And if you don't want to get $6 per dose and you have the money, you can just buy a bottle of medicine. That's gonna be at least 5 to 10 milliliters. For something at least, let's say, you're gonna get that for 100 and something based on the country that you live in, right? 200 is the one that you want to use, and boom, you're going good. And then all what you need to do is just come, change the animals, you can have them tied, or you can fence the area and just have the animals eaten. And this is just an investment for yourself, just like a real estate. You have no big set of work to do here. All what you have to do is make sure that the animals are fine. Whenever the animals are in labor, you make sure that you come about and you look at animal, see if there's any predator that's going to come to destroy the young ones, and ensure that they're safe, and ensure that there's no other animal if they're tied like this and your garden is unfenced, that there is no other animal that's going to come to try to destroy your young animal. It's with the males, whenever a male animal is born, you will find other animals trying to destroy the males. Because I guess that is what happens with pigs, goats, and other animals like that. Because they want to be the only ones to serve, I guess. So they want to get rid of the others. So you would want to make sure, check the animal, you see how they're looking, see what they need, and ensure that you give them the vitality. So that is what I want to say in the video today, and I will stress the importance of get farming, whether I use seedlings, young plants, seedlings, whatever it may be. All these are good businesses if you have good markets, right? Before I go again, sorry, one thing that I want to say again, when it comes to doing seedlings, let's look at the difference between doing